Well, welcome to the shop. Last week I picked up a little dial indicator here. Actually, I got two of them. These were $11 or so, 11 something. My plan is to mill off this tab and install a magnet. I'll have a cheap banjo indicator for the longitudinal movement on the lathe. So I have one at home with 2 inches of travel. It's really handy, but I don't have one here. So. And I got some bad news with my tractor. So we're using it's an L2850 Kubota. It's around 1987. This is the hood, the cover for the engine. And this is the tractor I used to load salt with for the last 15-20 years. And there's like no resistance at all with the clutch pedal here. And I pulled all the sheet metal off and I got in here and I look at this. It's moving around freely. I don't think it's supposed to do that. I think if this sheet metal wasn't here, I could probably pull it right out, but it's not. The clutch isn't releasing, so we're at the point now where I think we're going to have to split the tractor. And we had trouble with the PTO on this machine about 4 years ago, so we just haven't used the PTO. That's power takeoff on the back of the tractor. And I got some drawings of it, I'll show you. So this is the book I have. It's a WSM, which is a workshop manual. So it covers many different models. You've got the 2250, the L2850. GST stands for glide shift transmission. Both these tractors came with and without a glide shift, I think. The one I have is the L2850, and then there's a bigger one again, L3250. Ours does not have a GST glide shift transmission. So here's the transmission. And the noise that's coming from the PTO, I mentioned that it's got a problem. I think it's a bad bearing up in here. There's 5, I think. I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's not this bearing. And I don't think it's these. It could be this up in here. It could be this bearing. Could be something in here. I don't know what it is. Could be this bearing. It's something way up in the front. You can hear it. And the next page here is the clutch. This is the wrong transmission. This is for the 2250 and the 2550, but they're almost identical. That's the 2850 right there. Almost the same. So there's nothing wrong with the shifting, the 4-speed transmission, and it seems like the PTO works both in high and low range, so that's not the issue. It's some sort of bearing down in there. But up top, everything seems to be fine, and there's a problem in the clutch area, and I have a picture of that too. So here's the clutch, and it's a little more complicated than a normal clutch. It's got 2 clutches in there. So one pressure plate, 1 release bearing, 1 release fork, and 2 pressure plates. You got pressure plate 1 right here. The traveling, that's your transmission for the power of the back wheels, all 4 wheels, 4-wheel drive. And then you've got the pressure plate 2 is for the PTO. So a little more stuff than an average transmission. So this is going to be probably a upcoming series, maybe a couple of videos on how we're going to fix this. I didn't expect to have to do this. It just kind of stopped releasing there about 4 days ago. So this has to work, this tractor. It's what we use to load salt with. That's the piece, the dotted line here is the piece I was pulling in and out. And there's a shaft. The shaft goes into that shift fork, the release fork, number 7 here. And I think the connection between those two is there's something not right there. Either a weld is broken, or the gears have stripped, or there's a keyway that's fallen out, or something. I don't know. I'll know when I get in there. But I think while I'm in there, I'm going to buy a new release bearing and 2 clutches, and maybe resurface the flywheel. Maybe get a whole new pressure plate. I don't know. It's going to cost some money, but I mean, it's been 25 years So it's if I'm going in there, I'm gonna do all the work of splitting that. I might as well do everything right. So that's coming up. And I got a bit of bush hogging I did 2 days ago, and yesterday I spent the whole day bush hogging as well around a perimeter fence. So chain link fence. And this is the tractor, the L2850 is the one I normally use for that. It's underpowered, it's only 28.5 horsepower. But it's so small that I've got lots of clearance. And the video you're gonna see, the chain link is like rubbing on the tires, and the barbed wire on top is maybe 4 to 6 inches from the cab. It's like there's not room for anything between and it's a little stressful doing that, but that's what I was using because the alternator just came in. I got an update for you on the M5700. Okay, well, I'm out here in the dark. Apologize, but right in here is what looks like a brand new alternator. We just reused the old wires. We plugged them in there, and I cleaned everything. It's a rebuilt, so they managed to get it rebuilt. I didn't have time to try and modify something to fit. Out working every day, so it's back. It's rebuilt. It's not floated out to our site yet because it just came out of the garage today. I'm out here in the dark, and all I have is a little flashlight. But it would have been out there today, but we're busy looking at that clutch. So, yeah, I'll show you a little bit of my bush hogging. And this will be out next time you see it. I'll probably be plowing snow next week. So, thanks for watching. Driving an icebreaker today. clearing branches, vines, and you name it, off the fence today. It's a perimeter fence. I don't know how long it is. It's pretty damn long. But yeah, I did the other side already. And I'm responsible for dead trees, any growth. I'm going to spray this whole chain link fence next summer with Roundup. I don't like using Roundup. I've but it's just a losing battle. The trees they grow as fast as, this is 1 year's growth right here on the other side there. So it's almost 3/4 of an inch. And the vines, you can't win against the vines. These are cut already last year, and then there's new growth from this year. So how can you beat that? So what I'll do is cut them. I waited as late as I could this year. We'll cut them, and as there's new fresh growth in the springtime, we'll come around here and we're gonna just spray any new fresh vegetation with Roundup next spring. And maybe it'll reduce the workload because this is just taking too long to do this fence. But yeah, the old case tractor, it's working great. And now I'm gonna have to switch to a chainsaw. But gotta get it done, man. This tractor's too wide. And because the alternator's not in for the M5700, actually what I prefer to use of all is the L2850, but there's a problem with the PTO on that. So you see the tires are even with this. On the L2850, the tire would be over here, so I can get really close to the fence without the tires are rubbing on the chain link. Doesn't seem to be damaging them, but yeah. And then once in a while I bump onto a post, a steel post. On this side the posts are on the inside, so on this side there's just chain link, so it's not so bad, but you got to be careful you don't knock a post over. So the bush hogging's what I've been up to the last day and a half or so. This tractor, it's our best cold starting tractor. -20, this thing will start without being plugged in. 3,237 hours, and really well built little tractor. This thing's built like a tank. Haven't really had to fix very much on it, but while I'm going in there, you know, we're going to make a decision by tomorrow morning whether we're going to go in or not. Splitting the tractor means a lot of work, a lot of disassembly, a lot of parts come off to get at that. But you know, having the issue with the PTO kind of motivates me to do it, because to get in there and do it, we're going to basically it's two birds with one stone. So that'll be an upcoming maybe a couple of videos, 1 or 2, maybe even 3. This may take quite a bit of time. In the meantime, I have nothing to load salt with, so once we get started at this, we're not going to stop. We're going to go full throttle and get this done. So it's got to be back together so I can load salt again. Thanks for watching.